Me, lise, ulur, Mhi, tukarish, tsikador. From the blistering heat of the glistening twin suns over Tatooine's vast dune seas, the biting cold on the storm-swept, snow-covered, icy plains of Hoth, the towering trees and thick foliage in the dense and humid forests of Endor, to the endless depths below the crashing waves of Kamino's rough sea. Throughout our galaxy, far, far away, planets' climates and their fauna are as various as they are deadly. Only the best and brightest hunters can learn to adapt to all of them. Amongst them, the tenacious Mando'a.
Sukui bal Olarom. I'm Anubis. I've been studying working with Mando'a for about 10 years. I'm a linguist by hobby, and I'm one of the contributors behind the Mando'a expansion project hosted on mandocreator.com, where you can always find the latest edition of the Mando'a dictionary. Today, we have our famous co-host. His name is...
Velen? Is it? Olarom. Yeah, famous? I don't know about that. But what I know about is that I have to state that I'm not by now a hobbyist linguist, but I really want to learn Mando'a, and Anu hopefully can teach us. Also, I have to state as always that we will put all new vocabulary as well as the link to the Mando'a dictionary in the description.
Prepare your notebooks, people, because this one is a doozy on the vocab. You're going to get a lot of new words today.
But they're somewhat useful. So we have a lot of new listeners, so welcome, Olarom. I'm really hyped to see this growing. Also, gonna state as always that if you want to support us and the project, you can do so on our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Mando'a for die Kute, all in one word. Also, if you want to support us in another capacity, you can give us either a good review on Audible or Apple Podcasts, or a 5-star rating on Spotify. Sorry for the commercial section here. On with the show. We had some actuallys last episode.
Yeah, so a couple of things we had mentioned during the episode about symbols. The jag eyes on Kanan's, whatever you want to call that, headgear, blindness visor, I don't know.
Mask, whatever, yeah.
Mask, yeah. The jag eyes painted on there actually could be more likely that those were painted on by Rex. We forgot about that those showed up with Rex in the party. So
yeah. That was something that Shoya brought up, and also Phaedra seconded that. And I think it still could be that Sabine painted them on, but it would make sense that Rex, so to say, awarded them to Kanan because he would be entitled to, because he had jag eyes on his armor himself. I'm not actually familiar if he got awarded them by one of the Kuivaldar, probably, from the Mando trainers.
That's another topic to research, I would say. When did Rex earn his jag eyes?
Yeah, because I'm not aware of it, to be honest. But hey, interesting bit to find out.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if you know.
Yes. Also, I found out after the fact last episode when we discussed if the creature from Mando Season 3 was actually a Jagalar. We were kind of bamboozled a little So they were canyon raptors, but like the group that trained with jetpacks in the visual guide called Shriekhawk trainers actually just named these canyon raptors Jagalars or Jagalare when they adapted and raised them afterwards. So that's kind of a mix-up. And actually the out-of-universe explanation is pretty silly because someone at a trading card game firm that made the trading cards must have messed up and they had to shoehorn that in there somehow.
Amazing. But, I guess it does kind of make some sense that they would call them, what they're familiar with on a different planet. Just like if we went to another planet and saw something that, looked like a bear, we would probably call it a bear, even though it's not technically. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to put it into perspective, it's not like the original Jagala there, but they just stuck with that nomenclature, so to say. And final thing we had was with the Crusader symbol. So also Shoya pointed out that was basically an Ouroboros. So that's the quite common symbology of a snake biting its own tail. It's found in many cultures. And if you look close, and with that in mind, the Crusader logo kind of looks like a dragon, which would make in turn sense because of the basilisks. If you're not familiar with what the basilisks are, they are a dragon-like species. We will go in depth about that when we do our history and ancient Mandalorian stuff episode at some point. So just putting that out there.
Stay tuned.
Yes. One more for the in another episode trademark.
Yep. Soon, TM.
Yeah, exactly. So also one thing that I just want to put a disclaimer out. We will from now on move your guys' homework to the end of the episode. That just being for the reason that we got more contribution from you guys. What's great, but it takes up a lot of time at the start of the episode until we can get into our topic of the week. So we're just gonna restructure that a little.
So then maybe we should get into the topic of the week.
Yeah, but first, or with that, so to say, we have to go over our little intro sentence, of course.
That's true. Yeah, give it to us one more time.
Me lise ulur mi, tsikador.
All right. So this one comes from the famous and often quoted Star Wars Insider article that Karen Travis wrote, where she wrote, "Sometimes, though colors on armor simply express personal preference, blue and green are especially popular, while other soldiers opt for camouflage. Mandalorians seem not to care about being conspicuous because it's one thing to see us coming and another to do something about it," is a common Mando saying. And in in her true special way that she always seems to do things, says something is common and then gives no further details about it. So
and no translation for it.
Yeah, exactly. So to finagle this around into something that we can say with our current vocabulary, I have reworded this into, if you can detect us, it's too late to prepare. And so that's what the sentence means. Me lise, if, and then the subject is dropped because it's a general insert a subject here. Me lise, if someone can, ulur, detect, me, us, dukarish, tsikador, late to prepare.
Ah, yeah. The simplicity is sometimes the beauty of it,
Yeah,
really.
a lot of dropped words, but the meaning comes across, I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
One quick thing I forgot to mention there, dukarish is can also show up as dukar. If you want to say that something is late, it can be dukar or dukarish. An interesting word with two forms.
Okay.
No, that's it.
So that sets the scene for our topic this week. It's environmental specialists, or also like camouflaging. Let's put it like
Yeah, adapting and gearing up for various situations and environments, depending on the mission.
Yeah. How we want to go about this is just speak about the concept itself, which should be self-explanatory, really. This is something we see throughout all history, in human history, and also in modern militaries. You, of course, don't want to be seen before you're close enough to go through whatever action you want to do to your enemy. Mm-hmm. And there are some interesting phrasings and words, therefore, in Mando'a. The overall concept of that. So, interestingly enough, this could be connected with an offensive as well as a defensive action. And it's baslan, shev'la, strategic disappearance. So
this is one that gets used frequently in a joking sense, when at least I have personally used it this way, and I've seen a few other people that I know use it this way, for saying you want to like leave a party or a social situation, like it's time to baslan shev'la out of here.
Yeah. we had a similar thing in the German military. So I can confirm. So basically it would translate to camouflage and deceive would be, but and we would make camouflage, deceive, get out of there. So just also like, not staying here, not of interest. Bye.
Yeah. The words in Mando'a, it would literally translate to leave silently.
So then we would have hodasal for like in general camouflage. Mm-hmm. And the action of camouflaging would be hodasalar. Before we go further with this, there is just a really, really funny little tidbit from the Republic Commando novels that stuck out to me in the preparation for this episode. So in the very first novel, Hard Contact, they're on this wood world, right? Kilura. That's muddy and woody, dark colors, and they have their white katana armor on. And at some point, Darman points out that this color is really the dumbest thing to wear in this environment. So he at least notices somewhere between novels 1 and 2, it's stated that they have filed for black armor as a learning out of that episode. And you can guess when they finally get their black Mark II katana armor. That's exactly right. Shortly before they go on a mission on an ice world. So, yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's just something that was like, oh, dude. And that kind of reminds me of real world military because,
yeah, that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, it's great that we received XYZ gear. We don't need it anymore.
Right.
One thing you would need to camouflage for is the action to ambush, right? You're hiding until the enemy is close enough to ambush them. Mm-hmm. And that word would be
Jehave'ir.
Jehave'ir, to ambush. And that one is interesting because it got that J particle that's signaling.
The Je prefix, I guess you could call it. That signifies like false or deception kind of. And it's attached to the word for to guide or to show the way, haveir. So
Yeah.
interesting that it's to ambush is kind of like false guide.
Yeah, I would kind of read it as it meaning misguide, basically.
Yeah, maybe.
So yeah. One thing we gonna have to pay attention if we prepare for different like climate zones or biomes is of course the fauna. That would be agoloi.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important thing out of that group, like the animals that are around, what are you most concerned of? Of course, it's the large predators,
Mm-hmm.
any large carnivore. And we have a word for that, and that's the oyarak. And you might be able to spot the word root in there again. Oya is what? It's the particle or the suffix, prefix, depending on the word that's connected to hunting. So
yep, exactly. And the rak is an interesting word root there, and this is one that it's one that we actually had to create basically on our own here as part of the expansion, because there really wasn't any existing word to base that off of to begin with. And we played around with some of the existing words, followed our process of trying to make things sound like Mando'a, and going with kind of calling to mind that the sound of like war and attacking and things like that. There's a lot of these akanir to fight. So we wanted to bring to mind this kind of like fighting idea. And so that's where this rak form comes from, to describe like wild animals. Most wild animal predator type words will have this rak somewhere in it.
That's interesting. Cool. But like, yeah, I can see it. It's close enough to the whole Akanir, but still different. Yeah. Nice. One word that's just like, I think, useful to describe what we're going to talk about afterwards is verai. Like speaking of an area, verai is the area.
Yeah.
So just to put it in there, because it's kind of also important for mission planning and adapting to your environment, is weather vocabulary. And we would have just 3 words here. That would be vor for wind.
Wur.
Sorry?
You get the German W in there. Wur.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dang it.
All good.
What was correct now? Vor.
Wur. Yeah.
We have Mundra for storm clouds, or in general just an overcast sky. And then we have Burana for the storm. And now we speak about it, I'm like, dang it, don't we have something for rain?
Yes, we do. That one's a fun one. It's a pitat. I really like that word.
I forgot about the rain. Of course, we need the rain.
So, with the weather and general words out of the way, let's talk about some desert terms, things that you're likely to encounter on Tatooine or any of the other desert worlds like Jakku, or you could even say Navarro or Geonosis are probably also qualified as desert worlds. Yeah, desert worlds other than Tatooine don't show up too often, but there are other ones, believe it or not. Anyways, starting things off, we have on most of these dry planets, if it's not so sandy and mostly just kind of this hard ground, you have what might be Haast Fetin, which would be dry plains. It kind of calls to mind the dry, cracked ground of like New Mexico or something. As always with the desert planets, you have Thran, the sun, burning hot in the sky. And if you wanted to say the day is sunny, you could say Thranish. Kind of an interesting one there because it's sort of like star burned as the literal translation there. Really interesting.
Okay, I didn't know about that.
That's the note that Kieran Travis left us anyway. So there's fekad, which is sand. And if you want to say, Anakin's favorite thing, if you want to say something is sandy, fekadla, the la adjective ending attached to it.
Yeah. Like the literal translation for Vekat is so funny because that's also like well in Anakin's ballpark because it's rough and coarse and irritating.
Exactly.
The Vekat literally means sharp soil, basically.
Yep.
So
exactly.
Probably Annie got a point there. Who knows?
Yeah. I can imagine sand being quite the problem for environmentally sealed Mando suits. Sand getting up in the filters and just messing things up. No good. Yeah,
probably got a point. Yeah. So one thing we have kind of workshops and have definitely to talk about when you are operating like in these desert environments. You would of course encounter sandstorms, and this would be somewhat important in the sense that you have, as Anu just said, sea to be completely covered. Like you need to be closed off because if any skin would be showing, no good. I mean, most Mandos qualify.
Most Mandos are already set for that, but yeah.
But yeah, anyways, you would have to watch out for that. And we workshop that just combining Vekatla, sandy, with Burena for storm to have a sandy storm, a sandstorm, if you so will.
Yeah, you could probably also say Burenar Bevekad, so storm of sand. Either way probably would be fine. But one way that would not work, and this is I would say a common mistake that we see people make a lot when trying to translate things into Mando'a, it would not work to say fekad burenar, because then you have two nouns, sand, storm, and Mando'a doesn't actually like that. Mando'a doesn't do that like English does, where you can just put two nouns next to each other to describe each other. It needs to be an adjective or be somehow another way attached. So
exactly.
Moving on then, we have quicksand, pirfekad, which that one's fun because it's basically like liquid sand, literally. Rus is rock. Yeah, we've got rocks everywhere, but especially on desert planets. Nadala is hot. I don't think we actually have a word for heat itself, but yeah, Nadala is hot. And mind you, you would not use this to describe spicy food. That's a different kind of hot.
That's Janat. Or if you want to specify, as we all learned, Heturam or Hetikleish.
So one we mentioned earlier with the dry plain is Haast by itself, which is dry. And when you're out in the desert in the heat, it's going to make you sweat a lot. And the verb for to sweat is onidir. And to get around the desert, you're probably going to need some kind of pack animal to help you cover those vast barren distances. And the word for pack animal or mount is ulik.
Yes. And that brings us into the little more, let's say, lore portion of this. We decided to put ulik in with the desert because almost all pack animals that we really see in the Star Wars universe are desert based. Like we have the bantas, of course. Then we have the dewbacks. And like recently with the Mandalorian, also the blurgs.
Yeah.
They all seem like to be desert dwellers for whatever reason that is.
Yeah.
Then, of course, something that also comes to mind with preparing to operate in like a special environment like a desert, that we also see in the series. It also can be beneficial to be accustomed with, or at least aware of, the local population. Speaking of the Tusken Raiders, for example, the Sand People, we see in the Mandalorian that Din, for example, seems to be somewhat of a desert specialist because he is able to communicate pretty fluently with them.
Yeah, it was always an interesting one for me. I think we've talked about that in the past, where that was probably supposed to be Boba's thing, but yeah, it works.
Yeah, could be. But I think it wouldn't be too far a stretch if you're really like operating on all the sand worlds.
Right.
To have like at least this mastered the skill of communicating with them, because you would frequently encounter them.
Yeah. Tatooine being seemingly a hot spot for bounty hunters anyway, it would make some sense.
Yeah, sure. But if I'm not completely mistaken, we also have seen them on other worlds. Could be wrong
maybe
there.
Maybe so. Actually don't know.
I'm not quite sure. Yeah. That's the thing with what you already stated. Like, Tatooine is showing up so often, almost as a false bias with, it was a desert. Was that Tatooine? So, good question there. Yeah, but like you also would have to be aware, as we had with Onidir, with To Sweat a Lot, that you would have to carry enough water. So probably also even would upgrade your armor to hold like a kind of a camelback or something. That would make absolute sense. Would have to, as Anu also stated, would have to maintain your armor and your weapons more in that environment. But that probably holds true for all the environments we're going to speak about. They would all be harsh on your kids. Yeah, probably would also have to get accustomed to mostly operating at night, because the temperatures during the day would be unbearable, I guess.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Yeah. So one thing that I just want to weave in there real quick, we are both also cosplaying Mandos, and since that is the case, I found it really cool that in the mercs, the Mando mercs that is, these are also like brigades, like a type of profession you can choose for your kid. Have the environmental ops there, can basically specialize your kids to environment. And as we're just speaking about, it makes sense to some degree. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If you're not a traveling bounty hunter or a traveling Mando, you would want to make your kid as accustomed to your surroundings as you can.
Yep, makes sense from a practical perspective, of course, and we know Mandalorians are nothing if not practical people.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next environment we have to speak about, it's not as prominent as the others, but we still see some of it. Would be like the, so to say, ice planet, or even just the ice biome on a planet. We, of course, would have snow. That would be Sinceri, which is in itself, again, an interesting word, because we have sin in there for white again, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was Siri exactly?
Siri is, it comes from Sirish, which is cold. So white cold.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, sure. Yeah. We don't have a word for ice, right? I looked it up, but I couldn't find one.
It's one that is, I think, nearing. I want to say we have created the word for it, but it has not yet been published. I think.
Not yet been released.
That's correct. It is Cirrus. So basically cold rock.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. gonna add that to the notes real quick.
A little preview there, because that one isn't published yet, but it has been decided on by the team.
Nice. One thing you would also encounter on most ice worlds, it would be somewhat mountainous. So the word for mountain we have, it's serar. And interesting enough, there's also the word for valley, which is serakish.
Mm-hmm. I think the word for mountain is pretty interesting because it seems to come from the word for finger. The word for finger is ser. So mountains are like fingers of the world sticking into the air.
That one's interesting, yeah. Okay. So also because why not? You will have a lot of stone in the mountains. We throw in there the word for stone for you, shoruk.
Now, what the difference is between shoruk and rus, stone and rock and stone, I'm not entirely sure, but I would say that shoruk, just given the other words that are related to it, is something more like usable stones, like stone that you might want to excavate for using for building things or whatnot, because you also have best choruk, and that would be iron ore or like raw beskar. So choruk is probably more like usable stone.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. I mean, like I can remember asking myself that as a child. Yeah, but what's the difference between a freaking stone and a rock? It's both like, yeah. So I guess that's the semantic there is really not that clear. I mean, yeah, you can explain, but like at first glance, it's not that different. So a word that is kind of connected to the whole icy biomes is gatish, which means northern or polar. Also, we all remember that great scene from Empire Strikes Back right in the beginning, where Luke is in that cave held as a frozen snack, basically, by the vampire. That a cave would be a Yalon. So I thought when we throw a mountain in here, we also can throw the cave in there. But of course, you can have a cave in any biome, also in the desert, as we see with the Mandalorian series, where the covert hides later. So, Yalon.
The ice world is the one other place where you do see a pack animal in Star Wars, the Tauntaun, of course.
Yeah. The question is really if that counts as a pack animal or is that more of a mount?
Good question.
Again, semantics there.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. With the speaking of fauna again, we have the vampire as we said before, an oyarak, a large predator.
Yep.
And we have the vampire as a mount, a pack animal, however you will put it.
Tauntaun.
Dang it. Yeah,
maybe you could ride a wampa. That would be pretty excellent.
Hard to check. I'm keeping to confuse my animals here. Yeah, riding a vampire. That would also be a Mandalorian thing to do. So
yeah, let's do it.
Like Arctic Mandos riding vampires confirmed. Yeehaw! So what else do we have? We have that little fox creatures that we can see in Last Jedi, I think.
The closest thing to the Karamit symbol on my shoulder, the fox in Last Jedi, some kind of crystal fox.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what they're called actually. Yeah, let's consult Wikipedia real quick. Yeah, consult the Oracle. They are called the Vulptex.
Yeah, makes sense. Vulpin.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but I can't really think of any other ice or like polar dwelling animals we see in Star Wars. Can you?
I
don't think so, right?
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Well, we do have the freakish spider creatures that were in the ice cave with Dinjar.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, those things are nightmare fuel, man.
Yeah, really. Like that episode. Like Grogu, as usual, shab around and find out.
Yeah,
Oh boy, did they find out?
they did indeed.
So, yeah, I guess that's really with the ice biome. To go over that again, yeah, what would be prudent there? Of course, having some
the
kind
ice planets. We didn't list the ice planets also.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Go ahead, do that. Sure.
Yeah. So, and we talked about Hoth already, but there are a couple other ice planets that are pretty prominent in Star Wars media. Of course, there's Ilum, which is where the Jedi would go to get their lightsaber crystals, and was later in the sequels, if you choose to acknowledge them, turned into Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
You know, canon is
Yeah,
flexible.
I mean, even Disney is apparently contemplating
Yeah.
moving them to Legends, which would shev'la amuse me. Like,
Yes, I think we'd have a whole new celebration had on that day. That happens.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
interestingly, there is also an ice planet in the Mandalore sector called, not particularly inventively, Crownest. And this is supposedly where the clan Rin hails from. So like Sabine's
I think
lineage.
they still reside there. If I got that right, that's also the planet we see in Rebels where Sabine fights Gar Saxon.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so I think that's But I was also like super amused by the name because it's just spelled funny, but it's immediately like clear that this is a wordplay. So crow's nest, haha. So yeah, there's that. So, but let's go over real quick what would be prudent to have as a modification operating in this environment. The most obvious thing, of course, is that you would need some kind of heat regulation or heat element, really. What's not as clear on the first glimpse is that you would have to have some kind of darkening, reflecting material on your visor, because you would get snowblind in no time.
Yeah. That one is a really interesting environmental hazard. I mean, people don't typically think of.
People forget about this all the time. That's a huge issue with getting lost in the snow. Something else, really? Like, I mean, the white color is pretty obvious. Just to get camouflage there.
Hodasal,
yeah. Can't really think of something else.
I guess something, depending on just how cold the planet is, that might not be frozen water that you're dealing with in the ice there. So you might also need to bring some water, just like a desert, because deserts, it can also technically be a desert and be completely frozen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a point. Also, what I was just thinking about, with just to traverse the terrain, it could be really important to have jump boots or a jetpack with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Same for the desert, really. We forgot about that earlier, but we kind of addressed that with having a mount. So yeah, mount or pack animal. From that, going to a way more prominent climate zone in Star Wars. It's the forest or jungle.
Yeah, we've got plenty of those. Everyone knows, of course, Endor with the empire-destroying teddy bears known as the Ewoks.
Yeah, better take care that the trees don't start speaking Ewok.
Yeah, you will get Yob knocked the heck out of there. Of course, most people are pretty familiar with Kashyyyk as well, the homeworld of the Wookiees. There's Yavin 4, the rebel base where they were preparing for their strike against the Empire, also a jungle planet. Nal Hutta, which I think we get to see that in the new movie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I must say, they really did a good job on capturing that. Mm-hmm. So it's really get a feel of it just being really like muddy and swampy and everything. So yeah, that's really something good. So you can imagine the huge slug-like huts just how would you say?
Ambulating is the only way I can think of to describe how they move.
Yeah. Really like gotta be like that. I was like, yeah, crawling doesn't fit it. Yeah.
No, yeah. Fans of Clone Wars, which hopefully most people listening have watched Clone Wars. If you haven't, go fix that because it is a lot of great lore.
Love that show to pieces.
Yeah. If you've watched Clone Wars, then you've probably seen a lot about Felucia, which is kind of like a mushroom jungle planet. Really shows up quite a few times there in Clone Wars.
We actually even see it in the Order 66 sequence in episode 3.
That's right. Yep.
Where what's her face?
I think that was Isla Sakura.
Yeah, exactly. Where Isla Sakura gets gunned down.
Yeah, it was a brutal one too, man.
Yeah.
And of course everybody that's seen the original trilogy knows Dagobah with
sure, yeah.
Hanging out in the swamp I am.
Yeah, getting off of my lawn you must. On my nerves you go.
Darn kids parking in my swamp with their X-Wings they are.
Yeah, lately I got so much on my Sharika's nerves with that, but once you start, you can't stop really. It was like, sweetheart, lady this, to bed we go.
Talking like Yoda is so great. And the best part is when you have in some of the like early Clone Wars episodes where you have Yaddle, the other Yoda species, and she just talks totally normally. It's like this is just something he does to troll people, I swear.
Yeah, or it's really like my explanation for that would be that he probably was super old to begin with when he came in contact with basic speaking people,
maybe
so to say.
Maybe so.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really it's such a meme.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a meme. So yeah, but forests, environments, jungle, like swampy, dangerous things.
Mm-hmm.
We would have the tree, of course. I like that word. It's kurshi.
Yeah, that one just sounds nice for some reason. I like it too.
Yeah, it just has a ring to it, right?
Yeah, it sounds like a tree. It really does.
Yeah, like kind of. You nearly can hear like the twigs snap when you kurshi like this,
right? And the leaves rattling in the wind or whatever.
Exactly, that's what yeah. Exactly that. So a whole forest would be a kurs. And if you wanted to describe the dense vegetation you find in the jungle itself, you would speak of vorpan oi.
Literally green life.
Yeah. Of course, we would have the problem in the jungle area that you have the probably most diverse dangers in fauna there, you could say. So we would have, for example, the ekurak and constricting snake, or also voparak, which would be large carnivorous plants.
That one's fun.
Yeah.
A lot of those on Felucia.
Yeah. Also, one thing we have to put in there is Rishak, which would be a wildcat or like any feline predator, any cat-like predator. So I wonder if a Nexu would count as a Rishak. It's kind of cat-like, but also
I would think so. Yeah, you could probably call it that.
Yeah. So of course, when you're in a jungle area, as I said, it can also be swampy and wet. So that would be a ven, which would be VHENN.
Yeah, fen.
Yeah, ven. I just said that because we have the other ven, just VEN. Do not confuse that.
Yeah. Well, this one is actually a little bit differently pronounced. The VH actually makes kind of an F sound.
Really? See, I didn't know.
Yeah, this is it's not exactly F, but if you say it with an F sound, because making that distinction is really difficult, that's close enough. But it's kind of like an aspirated V. It would be the technical linguistic term, but fen.
Fen. Okay, yeah, makes sense. We have slat for mud. That's also one that's just phonetically exactly right.
Yeah, exactly right.
Just slat. Just get a muddy feeling from it. So that one's also really great phonetically. So yeah, biggest dangers in the jungle, except getting lost, of course. I think that's, if I had to pick one of the already mentioned environments that would scare me the most, I think it would be the jungle, because I'm just terrible at orientating myself. At least if you have a plane with just some rocks or something, you can make out any landmark to navigate from. Right. Good luck trying that in the jungle. Like no chance.
Yep. I mean, you would think that the jungle might be easy because there's a lot of stuff there, to like resources that you can eat or whatever. But another thing with the jungle is you have to worry about creatures that are poisonous or venomous, and
so much poisonous stuff.
We also have a word for that, actually, which is kirpir, which is literally death water, so poison. Kirpir.
Absolutely makes sense.
Yeah. So you might be able to find animals to hunt and eat, or vegetation that looks tasty, but it might also just be the last thing that you eat.
That's also something we kind of get in the movie without spoiling it too much. But jungle is really a bad place to be most of the time. We humans just are not exactly made for that. I mean, we're also not exactly made for the desert, but like less so for the jungle, I guess. Lots of stuff that just can't.
Mad respect to those ancient tribes that are still out there hanging out in the Amazon jungle, because that's a hard life.
I couldn't imagine, dude. I couldn't imagine. Aside from the climate, dude, no, like just this high humidity environments, I can't stand it. Like, I'm really used to have like comparatively high temperatures here in South Germany, but like still, when it's getting humid for, let's say, more than 1 week, it really goes on my mood, dude.
Yeah, it really makes a big difference in being able to cool off, because when the air is too humid and there's too much moisture in it, the sweat on your skin can't evaporate, and so you can't actually cool yourself with sweating. So you just get sweaty and wet, and it does nothing. You're still hot, and then you're sticky, and it's just the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah, it really is. This environment would probably the most common and most welcome thing you could alter with your kid, as we just said, would probably be some kind of cooling system, air condition whatsoever. Even more so than in the desert, because that's really training you. If you just can't get cool and dry, that's
so many things that will make you sick from being wet for too long. Like the
Yeah.
trench foot and all of that, the wonderful new diseases and stuff that ailments that we discovered from the various world wars there.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, like, good point to make. You definitely would need some good sealed boots, because if you get your feet wet and you get like any wound or any like or laceration on your feet, and they are wet all of the time, it will never heal. That's also like a big hazard in like high humidity or jungle environments, just not being able to heal your wounds because it's that humid all of the time. So yeah, really, again, there's in most environments a very well sealed off suit of armor and some kind of cooling system. Probably also need something to just have your water
to purify the water.
Purified, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going for. That would be important, yes. Also, like, I think almost all like freaky predators we get in Star Wars are probably from this environment. As we seen in episode 2 in the arena. I think the Nexu, as we already said, I think that would go there somewhere. The big mantis-like creature definitely would be in some jungle environment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I don't know exactly what it's called, but the weird creature in the trash compactor in episode 4, I'm pretty sure that is also some kind of jungle creature.
Yeah, probably so.
Dianoga, that's it.
Speaking of, I just remembered, we did forget about some like pretty serious desert creatures with the great dragon, for example.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, just because that's relatively new, but yeah, you don't want to encounter that. Also, desert, you always have to think of the shev'la Javase. Yeah, like
Jawas, they're always everywhere, man.
They keep your eyes on your kid, because if you're like sleeping in the desert, it might be gone the next day.
That's true.
Like, imagine like a group of hard Ori best courage Mando'a warriors camping in the desert, waking up in the morning just in their underpants.
Yeah.
Javas was here.
Yeah. And then the next day they're trying to sell it all back to them.
Yeah. So, wouldn't surprise me, really.
Yeah.
I really have to take care of that little chakare.
Yeah. You could also include the sarlacc there on the Tatooine.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so much desert stuff. I really was wondering, like, but we never get exactly told where the Minax originally hailed from, right?
Yeah.
So that could also be a jungle thing, like
I think they're kind of, they seem like they show up just about everywhere.
Yeah, just where they hail from, basically. They must have come
they're also on that I think they're kind of a space creature, and maybe they landed on Tatooine at some point from a meteor landing, but because they're in that asteroid
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's such a weird creature.
Exogorth thing, the thing that they hid in with the Millennium Falcon.
Blah. Yeah, really giving me the ick this episode. Right? Like, oh.
Yeah.
So yeah, jungle, sealed off suit, ventilation.
Water purification. Yeah.
Yeah, water purification, of course. Classic camouflage, paints if you really want to blend in.
Yep.
And yeah, I think that's about it, to be honest.
Yep. So
probably some climbing gear to make camp on
in the trees.
Whatever.
Yeah. Stay off the ground for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So speaking of staying off the ground, we'll move on to the next planet type that we want to talk about, where there is no ground on some of them. That would be the water worlds, the ocean planets. And I have to actually myself here, I was talking about the Dianoga. They are not actually jungle creatures, it turns out. They are exclusively in aquatic or urban environments. Apparently they live in the trash systems of Coruscant and whatnot. Really interesting.
Coruscant, so fun.
But they are also aquatic, so they may show up in swamps of some kind, or maybe on some kind of ocean world. Yeah, maybe. But speaking of ocean worlds, we see, of course, Camino, where the clones come from. And we have seen on screen Mon-Cala, or the Mon Calamari, and I think the
Quarren?
The Quarren, yeah. The Quarren come from. And there is an older one that is technically still canon, even in Disney canon, but it hasn't shown up anywhere on screen, is Manan. And that one, fans of KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic games, would recognize the homeworld of the Selkath, kind of like a catfish people.
Catfish people? Nice.
Manan is an interesting one. But yeah, that one is still technically canon. It shows up in like canon star charts and stuff, Disney canon star charts, and it might actually show up in Jedi Fallen Order. One of those games.
Can't tell.
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, I did not play that.
I know it's mentioned. I don't know if you ever actually see it. Anyways, another one that this one's a good trivia question for everybody listening. This one we definitely had to look up because I didn't remember it. The home planet of Kit Fisto and the smiliest boy. The smiley Jedi, the Nautilans, his species, is called Glee Anselm. I have no idea where that came from, but that's the name of it. So next time you're doing Star Wars trivia, remember that one.
Definitely.
Apparently that one has some like vacation posters and stuff that people have made, advertisements, because it has lots of islands and beaches everywhere. Really interesting. So maybe a nice place to visit. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yep. But since we're talking about oceans, let's go over the word for it. That would be shev'la. And that one calls to mind the whooshing of the waves. Shev'la.
Indeed.
We also have lakes, which are sumpir.
Yeah, I'm thinking that immediately also reminded me of the German word for swamp. It immediately reminded me of the German word for swamp because it's Sumpf. So Sumpir.
Yeah, it sounds similar, yeah.
So
Sumpir.
Yeah. I had to think of the Gangans in an instance. Like.
Yeah. You're going to notice with a lot of these words being water related, they of course have the water or liquid root in there, which is pir. So just notice that as we go through these. We have Justapir, which is river, literally water road, I guess you could say, water path. Yeah.
Like used from way path. Yeah, right.
The way of water. James Cameron, what are you doing? Anyways, shonar is a wave, so like a wave of water specifically. You don't shonar at people when you wave at them. One that I don't know, for some reason I think this word is hilarious. Gi is fish. I don't know why I love that so much. It's just it seems neat. Gi.
Imagine going like fishy, gi, 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 gi.
Bila.
Yeah, exactly.
All the Germans listening, you'll get that one.
Sorry,
everybody else. Yeah. Anyways, moving on, we've got shorak, which is it sounds almost exactly like the English of what you might think of. So it's a marine predator, like such as a shark. Kind of a happy accident there,
Right.
because that is, of course, the ocean route with show and the predator route I talked about earlier with rak, shorak.
Yeah. Nice.
Perun is water in general, just the basic word for water. And then Pirsen is a boat or watercraft, something that floats upon the water. And what would we need for surviving in an ocean world? Well, certainly, of course, as always, you need that sealed suit, which, interestingly enough, we notice in The Mandalorian season 2 that his is not completely sealed because he has trouble when diving down into that into the ocean to go after the kid. Bo-Katan, of course, has hers sealed, as you might expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you need the sealed suit. You definitely need some kind of rebreather oxygen system to be able to keep your breathing ready to go under the water. But you're really... But go ahead.
It just came to mind, of course, if you are an aquatic species, Mando, they're not.
Yeah, maybe
but
so.
Just wanted to put that out there because as we complained about in the episode where we first brought it up, it's not as represented as we would wish. But remember, all species can be Mandos.
That's right.
So we are, of course, in that instance, speaking about human Mandos. Right. So just disclaimer, haha. But yeah, of course, you would need some kind of rebreather or something. Probably also some pressure. How would you say?
Yeah, you need some kind of pressure regulator.
You need to balance the pressure out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Suit needs to be pressurized. And you're definitely going to need something for light, because light doesn't penetrate super deep into the ocean. It gets dark fast.
Absolutely.
So you're going to be in the dark if you get too deep down there.
Something we also saw in season 2, I guess, or is that already 3, where Bo saves Din from the mythosaur in the living waters.
That is season 3, yeah.
One thing we see there, apparently, even if that doesn't make terribly much sense, but we see that the jetpacks assumedly work underwater.
Yeah, I guess if it's a completely closed system, and as soon as the ignition happens inside and is forced out, if it's doesn't allow water up in there into where the ignition actually happens, and maybe
whatever,
who knows. But yeah, definitely some kind of underwater locomotion, whether that's jetpack or something else.
So you need some mean of propelling you forward, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And probably as we put in the Pearson, the boat, some kind of watercraft as an operating base, because no matter how well sealed off your suit is, you're not made to operate in open water for a longer period of time.
Yep.
So that would be super important.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of creatures we have? There are plenty, really. We have, of course, the creatures that are home to these environments. We already spoke about the Moncala and the Quarren. There's a great episode in the the OG Clone Wars series, the 2D animated one, where they go to war versus each other. So that one is super interesting. If you not have seen the OG Clone Wars series, I really recommend it, as it's hilarious. It doesn't hold up to today's standards, but it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is very fun, and the feats of power are off the charts.
the power creep, how you would say, it's crazy.
Man.
Also Yoda is so out of character there. It amuses me so much. I have on my battle vest, I have a pin of Yoda from that series, because some day after a convention we didn't have much to do and we started watching it, and we were so amused about how out of character compared to the other media Yoda was, and how sassy he was, that we were like, yeah, okay, that's just freaking great. So yeah, but there we see also clones operating underwater. So wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Kinda, they have to have the technology from somewhere. So like, I don't know if it would really be possible, but shout out to the Mercs clan, one of the Florida clans. They are the Ivor Raiders. So probably you can make a mount of an Ivor. Who knows? That's the big winged creatures we see on Camino, for everyone's not familiar with them.
The flying stingray things. Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, have to remember there's always a bigger fish down there. So all kind of weird aquatic predators. You might encounter a Gungan, so take care. Horrible creatures. You are stuck with me here.
Now you say that. However, I would say that oh crap, I forgot his name. I need to know this guy's name. Torpals, that's it. Tarpals. Yeah. So I would
the
say
general,
the Gungan
captain.
general. Yeah, the Gungan general. Tarpals, General Tarpals. That dude is Mando'a for sure.
Yeah, probably so. We tend to go off Jar Jar.
We see too much of Jar Jar, and he ruins the entire species for them.
Yeah. So any other vocabulary there? I don't think so.
No, I think we've covered it all.
Yeah.
That's going to be a whole notebook for some of you guys out there. But, you know,
I think most of the stuff is not like something you will need on a regular basis.
Sure,
I think it was just interesting to make this thought experiment to say, yeah, okay, if you had to operate in these regions or in these biomes, you would have to take this and that into account. Let's just then go over our word of the week. Word of the week. Our word of the week this week, is da verd.
Yep, da verd, which maybe some people will recognize that from the title of the song, Da Verda Verda. It's actually an archaic form, which doesn't typically get used too much anymore, which means stealth or kind of like shadowy or sneaky, or it's a noun, so stealth, basically. And yeah, the way that song title was translated to make more sense in English is the Shadow Warriors, Da Verda Verda. But yeah, that's a great Mando like war chant song, and I've seen some guys do the dance to it, and I really want to do that with some people at a con at some point, but just got to make sure we don't break each other's armor, because you've got to drum on each other's armor plates to make the beat for it.
I have to do that sometime. I know the video. Speaking of, adding on top of that, because little like mini rant, some guy on YouTube is pumping some AI slop out that is supposed to be a Mando'a, and we reviewed that, and not only we, some people reviewed that, to be honest, and not one line of Mando'a is correct. Like most of the time it's just complete gibberish. But, and there goes my big but, there is a channel on YouTube. They also make other like nerdy related music. It's called Epicus. Just go look up the Epicus version of the Da Verda Verda, and that one is freaking great. Whoever is behind that also has gone to the lengths to alter some of the lyrics. Most of them pretty good as far as I know, right?
Yeah. Are you? They did a dub. Oh yeah, they did do a dub. I did not know about that one. I knew about I knew about that they did the Vodeon, but I didn't know they did Davide Vera.
I thought I
Interesting.
sent it to the group at some
Yeah,
point,
yeah,
but
yeah. No, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, it is that one. Yeah, that's the one I
yeah,
was thinking of. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that one is freaking great. So if you want something that really got a little oomph and is kind of like a haka,
Yeah.
go look that one up, because that's actual Mando'a, and they did a great job of keeping the meter, making it interesting. They threw a little of, I would say it's Mongolian inspired throat singing with that in there, but it just really works well.
Mhm.
Sounds super awesome, sounds super badass. If you want something that's going in that direction, go with that. Scrap that AI slop. You know our opinion about translating Mando'a with AI. It just
It
doesn't
does
work.
not work, man. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of translating with AI, or just keeping your hands off that, we finally are at the point that we are ready to review your guys' homework.
Yep.
So we got some contributions this time, which is great. Let's just start with the first one by the Master Commander on Spotify. He wrote, Ner alik rik, chorsu ner alit gana bul, bat kun aligai. Bit rik ibak bul chorsu bintar ulik kotish bal kaden primu akanir. Ner beskagam kebin tigetal, ner rudur bal ni emuri shia sade.
Not bad. Not bad. All right. So going over this and making my notes here. You did an excellent job with this, by the way. I only have a couple of things to point out. The first sentence is great. No notes there. That reads perfectly, I would say, the way that you wanted it to read, which you provided the translation as well, which thank you, because that helps with any corrections, because then I know what you're going for. But yeah, I would say you nailed it on this first sentence. My symbol is a reek because my family has a bull on our family crest. Yeah, ner alik rik jorku ner alit gana bull bat kun aligai. Yeah, that is that's perfect. The next sentence, one thing to note here, bid ibak. You used it here to say, so we used reek as a bull. Bid ibak is used for kind of like a comparing statement. So this is as big as that, or whatnot, or to what degree something is generally the way to use bid ibak. So that one I can understand what you were going for, but you would probably have to reword that one a different way. You could probably just say sa, I would say. Reek sa bull. So reek as bull. Jorku bintar ulik kotish balkadin pirimu akanir. So because both animals, ulike, you would need to make that plural. Both animals, or mounts in this case, are strong and angry. And they're used for fighting. Yeah. The last sentence there, I could, like the last part of the sentence, I could see that being a little bit confusing in how it's worded. You would need to separate that out with into its own clause with Meg to show that this is the same subject that's being talked about. But as it is, it's pretty understandable. So good stuff there. And then the rest, of course, is also spot on with no need for correction. Your armor is blue with red, and your husband and you like these colors most. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Good job.
Really like that one.
Kandosila.
No, like it's also like great to get like input from new people, so to say.
Yeah.
We like super value all the guys that always or most of the time step up, but like we want everyone to learn. So it's really great to see others chime in. Speaking of, we have one more person that had their first homework put in. That's Hunter Tatum, also on Spotify. He wrote, Ni hibir Mando'a, ner beskagam vorpan bal vevut. Vorpan ni gurosal, ni reduk bal ni, alik nas su, ni kopani toka, chorsu ni peskargam mangana, ni reduk red ganat purple bal genit. So, what that's supposed to mean is I'm learning Mando'a. My armor is green and gold. Green is the color I'm fond of. My partner and I don't have a symbol yet. I would like a toka because my first armor had one. My wife may choose purple. And they specified that they don't know if we had a word for purple. I think not. I think we have a word for violet, but not
violet,
for purple.
That's the closest one. I would just go with violet for this. Savine is the word for that. Yeah, this one is also pretty close, which is great again for a first time commenter. So good stuff. One thing that stands out is to make sure you're conjugating those active verbs here. So, and also be careful with when you're searching the dictionary that you pick the right one. I know sometimes they're really close and you can accidentally grab the wrong one there, but the verb you're looking for to study is hibirar. If you say hibir, you're talking about a student. So you are a student of Mando'a, which maybe you could say that that's what that sentence means, but probably you want to say ni hibira Mando'a. I study Mando'a. Nerbeskargam vorpan balvevut. Yeah, that works. Vorpan niguror sal. Okay, so this is a good time to talk about Mando'a really not liking the passive voice form. So in your English translation, green is the color I'm fond of. Mando'a would rather make that into more of an active statement of saying, I am fond of green. So you would just want to say ni, and again, conjugate the verb, guro, ni guro, vorpan. You could even, if you really wanted to say the color green, you could say ni guro sal meg vorpan, the color that is green. But that would probably be a little more complicated. You'd probably just say green. I'm fond of green. Ni reduk, I think you meant redur. Ni redur bal ni. You would want to say Ghana here. You don't have, or new Ghana. You don't have alik. So ni redur bal ni nu Ghana alik, or ni nu Ghana alik su. You don't have a symbol yet. And ni kopani tuka jorku ni beskargam man Ghana. So ni kopani tuka, good job conjugating the verb on that one. Jorku ner beskargam. You can, in some cases, use the adjective after the noun. Generally speaking, it's better to put it before, just for the flow of the sentence, but it would be allowable as it is, the man being original after it. But just for future reference, probably before is the better way to go with it, because your original beskargam had it. Yeah, Ghana. So good. That works. And the last sentence, yeah, your spouse would like, what is the Ganad? What is the, my wife may, choose, of course. Ganader. Okay. Yeah. Typo with the double A in the wrong place. Gotta love those double vowels always tripping you up. It happens to all of us.
Yeah, it happens to me all the time, to be honest.
You and me all the time. So, ner ridor, again, we want to use the possessive. Ret ganade, so conjugate the verb by just cutting off the R, not the E and the R. Purple balagenet, so purple, as we mentioned, probably just use savine here, or violet. And yeah, genet, or gray, perfect. So a few corrections there, and it sounded like more than it really was. It was a lot of little technical things, and the gist of it, like the main meat of it, you got pretty well there. So good stuff.
Yeah. And exactly that's what the homework section is for, and why we also tend now to move it to the end, because we really can go in depth about your guys' homework or comment, however you want to say it, so you can also take something away from it. So you guys can't imagine how many texts I have sent into at the start, like, oh, how is that gonna be phrased, and would that work? And but that's really what you learn from. You need to get that feedback. So don't worry, guys. We all start somewhere.
Yep. No one is a native speaker of Mando'a, unfortunately.
Obviously, yeah.
So we were all completely new at some point.
Yeah. So we have a comment by Phaedra that's not in Mando'a for once in a while. Shocker. But I thought it was still interesting. I wanted to include it because Phaedra, they said it made them think with our last episode, and they drew up a sigil. And I quite like the idea of it because it's for once not just an animal. Right. What they did was a circle with like a stylized wave in it and a sky above it with 3 stars.
That's really cool.
Stating like it encompassed their favorite Mando'a words, chatekara and shoshie. So, yeah, that's really, you see, you don't need to take stuff everyone has already taken. You can really come up with your own sigil, and I really like that one.
Mm-hmm. It makes me think a little bit of like the Jester Muriel with the grain, the wheat stalk thing.
Yeah, it gets it's similar like vibe with the circle being basically divided in different compartments, so to say. Yeah. So as you would have in a medieval coat of arms, in the more sectioned ones would also have several like images that were cut off by across a line, whatever.
Right.
So yeah. So I think that's a nice idea. Gets me thinking about our like house sigil I want to do for me and my fiance. Really need to be thinking about that one. Yeah, she's getting her armor approved right now. So fingers crossed. Yeah, fingers crossed. So
let's go.
Hopefully that will work out. But yeah, I just was really thinking about getting us an own sigil, so to say. So
yeah,
have to brainstorm a little. Okay, so before we squander off for hours as we always do, let's give you guys your new homework for next episode, and that would just be, which environment needs the most skill in your opinion, and why? If you want, phrase that in Mando'a for us to review. And all that really leaves us with, as always, is to say to you,
Ret'urcye Mhi.
Ret'urcye Mhi. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.